Hey everyone, my name is Jared from Game Anatomy, and this week my goal for Drifted was to create a basic player movement script and a way for the player to move the camera around the player character. I also redesigned a new island that is kinda similar in shape and scale to the old prototype island I was using in the last video you guys saw. For the player movement, I knew I wanted the player to be controlled with the WASD keys since I plan on launching my game on Steam. I also knew I wanted the camera's forward position to be the player's forward position. So knowing what I wanted, I got started on coding the player movement. I started by just making the player able to move with the WASD keys and setting the player character's forward position as the camera's forward position. Once that was done, I had to make the player have gravity. If not, then when the player walked up a slope, they really can't walk back down the slope, they will just fly around in the air. I also reset the gravity constant to 2 meters per second when the player is grounded, so they still have gravity but just less, so if they walk over a rock, they will fall back down to the ground instead of slightly hovering over the ground. While making the camera for my game, I had a few issues. I generally got exactly what I wanted for my player camera, but I have a few bugs that will have to be fixed in the future. For now, this camera will have to do, and I will fix the bugs when I think of a better solution than what I currently have. The camera orbits around the player character from a pivot point attached to the player character's feet. When the player holds down the middle mouse button and moves the mouse to the right, the camera will orbit around the player to the right, and vice versa for the left. When the player character moves around the map, the camera will follow. In the future, I would like to add something to the camera that makes it act like a rubber band, meaning that when the player character starts to move, the camera will not immediately follow. It will slowly transition to follow the player character, and when the player character stops, the camera will still be moving towards the player character for a short time before stopping. While working on Drifted this week, I also wanted to design a map that would be a better fit for my game. The old prototype map had slopes that were too steep, and in the past it caused a lot of issues. So I decided to make a new map with the new terrain tools from the Unity 2019.3 update and create a really nice map with slopes that were going to be a lot better for my player character. I wanted the first island to be large enough to be the first island the player starts out on, but not so large that the player doesn't want to explore the rest of the islands. The island has a mud pit that I'm still working on, but in the end we'll have standing puddles of dirty water and dead trees with logs stuck in the mud. I want the mud pit area to spawn boars later in development, and the boars can be hunted by the player for food. When I work on the starter island again, I think I want to expand the grass area to this other area on the island that seems like it could use a grassy area with trees and a small jungle. I also want to add rockworks and landmarks to the island so the player can see a landmark and instantly know where they are without looking at the mini-map or map. This is really important when designing a map, and to always keep in mind when creating your own maps. I want to thank you for coming out and watching this video. Be sure to subscribe if this kind of thing seems interesting to you, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And at the end of the video, you can click to watch the next devlog, or if you missed the Drifted introduction video, you can click here and watch it now. Thank you once again, and have a great day everyone.